All right, let's talk about Zanzibar seaweed business that runs on women's work, and it keeps the island's economy moving. Before sunrise, women are on the tidal flats, checking ropes, tying seedlings, and hauling heavy bundles to shore. And this isn't side income. For tens of thousands of households, it pays for school fees, food, and rent. And at the national level, seaweed now sits alongside tourism and spices as a major earner, pulled by steady demand from food, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical companies. The job, though, is tough and mostly informal, hours in the hot sun bent at the waist with stings, cuts, and persistent back pain. As waters warm and weather shifts, some farms have moved farther out into rougher water. The walk is longer, the risks are higher, and most farmers still lack protective gear or formal training. Even so, the women keep showing up because buyers will come if the seaweed is ready. Here is the gap. Most farmers sell dried seaweed at the beach to middlemen for low margins. The bigger profits appear later when that same seaweed is processed into carrageenan or turned into labeled soaps and creams. The people who do the hardest part capture the smallest slice. That's a problem for families, and it's a problem for the wider economy. When value leaves the island early, so do jobs, taxes, and reinvestment. The fixes, though, are practical and measurable. Start with safety. Gloves, sun protection, simple back supports to cut injuries and lost workdays. Add basic training on grading and drying standards so farmers can prove quality and negotiate better prices. Support women's cooperatives that aggregate product, sign written contracts, and avoid take it or leave it offers on the beach. Then keep more value local. Light processing, drying to spec, milling, small batch extractions, anchors jobs on the islands. Shared labs and equipment help women's groups turn raw seaweed into finished goods. And when they sell a packaged product, not just a bundle, incomes rise and that money circulates through shops, transport, and schools. That's how a woman-led industry strengthens the broader economy. Higher farm gate prices, local hiring, and a tax base tied to processing as well as exports. So what should we watch out for next? Whether the farm gate prices are rising with demand, whether more co-ops have multi-month or annual contracts, and whether local processors are expanding, and whether women are getting those jobs and promotions. And listen for everyday markers. Families paying fees on time, buying sturdier boats, adding a solar panel or a freezer because income is finally predictable. Seaweed isn't flashy, but it's strategic. When the women who farm it gain safety, bargaining power, and a path into processing and branding, families do better and Zanzibar's economy gets stronger, more resilient, and more local by design.